Yay! Bravo. Thank you. Well, greetings and welcome to my lecture about modern tarot and social media. And I extend my gratitude to Christoph. Can't see him. But thank you so much for sharing your wisdom of the past. I think the past is such an important aspect to remember when we're trying to navigate in this modern world and setting our sights towards the future. So thanks for sharing your wisdom, Christoph, wherever you are. All right. And my name is Marija Snebjork Damkjaer. And among other things, I am a self-declared tarot nerd. I'm also a writer/word witch. I have co-created a few tarot decks. And I am an occult event curator in Copenhagen with the Copenhagen Occult Club. I'm also an intuitive designer and a spiritual entrepreneur. And I hold a degree in marketing and communication design. And if you want to know more about me, you're welcome to connect with me on Instagram or check out my website or just come and have a chat during this weekend. Okay, so normally when I do lectures or workshops, I always like to start with a round of presentations. But since we only have 30 minutes here today, I won't do that. But I will conduct a very scientific survey called Raise Your Hand. And don't worry, it's completely anonymous. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Raise your hand if you use tarot in your spiritual or occult practice. All right. Raise your hand if you don't have a smartphone. Is there anyone? Anyone? Okay. Raise your hand if you have an Instagram account. Raise your hand if you have a TikTok account. You're completely anonymous. You can share this here. Okay. All right, so raise your hand if you prefer to watch old TikToks on Facebook instead of having a TikTok account. There was a few. Okay. Raise your hand if you prefer to do your notes in a physical paper notebook. Okay. Raise your hand if you believe in magic. And raise your hand if you believe in digital magic. All right. All right, so that's it. Let's dive into the magic of tarot. Today I'll discuss how to integrate the traditional art of the analog tarot cards with the convenience of our smartphones and various digital platforms. And it's important to note that this lecture focuses on the personal tarot practice when you read cards to yourself. And I have a quick overview of the agenda. We will delve into what modern cartomancy is, according to myself. We'll talk about how to do digital notes. We'll talk about how to harness the power of social media for spells. And we will end up with a quick digital word spell. So make sure you stay till the end. All right. So I was born in 1980, and that was right between the Generation X and the Millennial generation. So you could say that I'm a bit of both. And this dual influence is also very much apparent in my spiritual and occult practice. On one hand, I love the analog cardboard tarot cards. I love the tactile experience of engaging in candle magic. I love to disappear into books. I love to connect with nature. I love to do various hands-on crafts. But at the same time, I'm very fond of social media. You might say it's a love-hate relationship. but I definitely like the fact that I could use it for my own benefit. And just in general, I like all the digital tools available to us in this modern age. And much of us is found in our private little droids, our smartphones. So why not, when all of us are carrying our smartphones with us all the time, why not use these as portals into the unknown? Why not use these droids to help us create some magic? All right, let's start by defining modern cartomancy. And this is my personal opinion, obviously. So when we're comparing modern cartomancy with the act of fortune-telling practices with cards, a significant shift in focus becomes very evident. Modern cartomancy is often a much more personal and introspective practice. It centers often on self-development, spiritual growth, goal setting, manifestation, and the exploration of one's connection to your own subconscious, or the divine, or the universe, or your deities, or whatever spiritual things you're working with. In contrast, in the past, cards, particularly the tarot, was primarily associated with so-called fortune tellers, gypsies, or psychics, and people would seek them out to inquire about their future, to learn about their future love life, the money situation, and so on. So to make things simple, you could basically say that cartomancy of the past would focus on what was in the future, and cartomancy of modern times is more like, how do I make my future happen? This modern era we're living in has also made the tarot and various other cards way more accessible. Everyone can be their own fortune teller today. And these cards can serve as a very valuable tool for self-development, for divination. And in a way, this can, it doesn't have to, but it can eliminate the need to turn to external sources for these answers. And learning the cards have become accessible to all of us, and this allows us as individuals to take our own deep dives of discoveries and understanding. All right, so when you read the tarot cards for yourself, it is essential that you tap into your intuitive impulses, that you engage your imagination, and that you connect with your emotions about the illustrations you see on your cards. So while honoring the traditional meanings is very important, I truly believe that, I have discovered that the intuitive approach, particularly when you use tarot as a self-care practice, and if you're a beginner, holds an even greater significance than just sticking strictly to the traditional meanings. This is my opinion. Because when you are crafting a personal tarot practice, you are essentially developing a tool of divination that will not only assist you and support you, but it will also help you towards your goal and illuminate your true path in front of you. And in my experience, creating a personal relationship to each tarot card is paramount. So when you free yourself of the rigid confines of traditional interpretations, you can actually deepen your relationship with your tarot card. All right, so as a modern individual navigating an urban society while seeking a connection to the divine, to explore your own spirituality, you have a huge abundance of modern cards and decks available to you. And within this rich assortment, you will discover a deck that can align with your vibe, your aesthetic, that resonates with your soul, that pleases your visual senses. And it's also important that it delights your imagination and it speaks to your personal intuition. Yeah, so you can surely find a deck that resonates completely with the essence of who you are. And I find it very important that you find a deck that aligns with your personal soul path. And it doesn't have to be the traditional Rider-Waite method, not even if you're a beginner. It's a good place to start. But when crafting a personal tarot practice, I found it much more important that you connect with the illustrations on the card on a deeper level. And you can also say that the world today is a lot different than it was in 1909 when the Rider-Waite deck was introduced. And we now live in like a fast-paced society, and it's driven by social media and the internet. And these things can sometimes hinder our connection to our own intuition, to our own essence. But it also presents us with an abundance of possibilities and an endless wealth of esoteric wisdom available to us. And these are actually tremendous benefits when you're trying to craft a personal cartomancy practice. All right. There was supposed to be some TikToks here, but we cannot have any moving objects. So just play them in your mind. Okay, so learning the card of 78 plus cards can be quite intimidating. So why not turn to social media, Instagram or TikTok, to find some inspiration from fellow readers on the same path as yourself? Here you can find valuable tarot tips, you can find tarot spreads, you can find other like-minded weirdos to connect with who are on the same journey as yourself. And these are completely random examples that I found within 10 seconds, and they're actually valid beginner tips these two women are offering. But of course, it is important to be critical when you seek out information or inspiration on social media, just like you would with any other online resource or offline resource for that matters. So I'm not sure I have to say this, but I'll do it. Use your common sense. Ask your intuition. Keep what resonates and makes sense, and just leave the rest behind. So, in conclusion, inspiration, teaching, sharing, and connecting are all resources that are available to you in the palm of your hand via your smartphone. So if you embrace these opportunities wisely, they can truly enhance your exploration of the mystical and spiritual realms. All right, let's talk about doing notes. And I just want to say that you don't have to write any notes for this lecture. I did it for you. I made an entire blog post containing this lecture and more. And if you stay till the end, I will be as kind as to provide you with a QR code for that. Yes. Okay, so growing up in the 80s and 90s, my teachers would often emphasize the importance of handwriting notes when you're trying to learn something. And my teachers believed, which is fair, that it would aid my memory retention, basically that it would help me remember what I was trying to learn. And this was very much true in an age where we lacked easy access to computers and we didn't have the convenience of all the digital tools we have today. However, in today, we're actually carrying the whole world or the whole universe in our pocket all the time. So why not incorporate these smartphones into our divination practice? So in the beginning of my own personal journey of becoming a serious tarot reader, I swore by the practice of writing all my readings down in a physical notebook. I held the belief that using a smartphone would somehow disrupt my connection to the divine, to the universe, or to the spiritual realm. And I followed this approach for quite a long time. But as I progressed on my path, I came to accept my preference for convenience. Basically, I am a very lazy tarot witch. So I began taking my reading notes on my smartphone instead. I soon noticed that this shift in note-taking significantly enhanced the depth of the messages I would receive during my personal tarot readings. Not only did it improve my ability to remember them, but it also allowed me to tap into my preferred learning style, which is very visual, because I could take a picture of my card and save along with my notes. And this practical change also meant that I could revisit my readings multiple times during the same day, the following week, months or even years later, in a very easy way. And having my smartphone with me all the time allowed me to navigate where I saved my readings in just a second. And this accessibility enabled me to reread and reflect on my readings repeatedly. So ultimately, okay, just kind of one. Ultimately, this approach proved to be a very effective way to fully integrate the messages of my readings both into my subconscious and also manifested into my daily waking life. So embracing technology in this way has greatly enhanced my personal divination practice, and it has actually deepened my relationship to my tarot cards. Also, if you choose to use an app like Instagram, there is a word limit for each post. And this forces you to be very short and very precise about the messages you will receive during your tarot readings. And when you get to the essence of your cards, it actually becomes much easier to remember what the cards are trying to tell you. So you can see this sort of word limit constraint as a blessing, because it forces you to get right to the core of the message. And when you keep your wording short and precise, it's much easier to integrate what the cards are trying to tell you into your daily life. So in the past, when I used my paper notebook, I would fill so many pages with lengthy descriptions, a lot of extra side notes, and page up and page down, with a lot of unnecessary details and basically a lot of downright bullshit. To be honest, it was overwhelming, and of course I couldn't remember it all. And I would only revisit my notes the next time I opened my notebook to do my next tarot reading. And by that time, I would have completely forgotten my previous reading. Obviously, I don't have my notebook in my pocket all the time, so I wouldn't revisit my notes that often. However, with my readings saved in a digital format on my convenient little droid here, it's always with me. I can easily refer back. I can review the card imagery, and I can fully integrate the message into my subconscious and into my conscious life. So this integration is important because when the insights of the cards gets deeply ingrained, it can actually begin to change your life. It can begin to guide you towards your path of whatever you need to go that the cards have revealed to you during this reading. Moreover, when you start to document your readings or spells, or whatever you do for divination, when you start to document this digitally, it becomes intertwined with everything else you type into your smartphone, your text messages, your DMs, your comments on Facebook, your Google Docs. Essentially, all your thoughts, opinions, dreams, and written expressions, it's all stored together somewhere in the digital realm. And this means that by feeding your phone with the content of your mind, you can utilize this wealth of information anytime you want, and it can help you to create tangible, magical changes in your life. And this brings me to my next point. This is fun. I hope you like. Social media tarot spell work. All right, so here we have a list of things that social media tarot spell work can help you with. It can support your overall well-being. Who would have thought that social media could do that? It can inspire your creativity, and it can actually make your wishes come true. And overall, it can support your spiritual journey wherever you are. So the way you keep your notes can profoundly reshape the perspective you have on yourself and that you have on the world. Ultimately, it can assist you in achieving your desires. I'm talking about using social media as a tool for manifestation spells, particularly when tarot cards serve as your weapon of choice for divination. Let's say you are inquiring your cards about a project you're doing, a wish you have, a new path you're embarking on, or any other aspiration. In that case, you will be asking questions to your cards like, where am I in regards to my goal? What is blocking my process? What's my next step? Where can I find inspiration? And so on. These questions should always provide you with answers that can empower you to move forward from your tarot reading with optimism. No matter what card you pull, you should always make sure that you end your reading on a positive outlook. This is very important. Even though you draw a guy with 10 swords in your back, make sure you end on a positive note. All right, so creating a tarot ritual. So this is how you do it. You conduct your reading in your personal space, pulling cards while you set the ambience. It could be with any of these things I have listed above. You can light some candles or some incense or whatever you like. You remember that you are basically engaging in a sacred ritual. And these ideas are things I have used in my personal practice. Sometimes I use all of it, sometimes I use none of it. It always depends on my mood and the reading I'm about to do. So doing this process, you're actually creating a tarot spell. You're inscribing your intentions into words, and you're capturing the card images through photos. So after your initial ritual and reading, you could turn to a platform like Instagram. And this would mean that you're taking the initial step towards manifesting the fulfillment of your reading. So by sharing your reading with the world, whether you have 10 or 10,000 or 100,000 followers, or even maintain a private account, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you communicate your soul's message to the universe. You can further enhance your post by adding memes that resonate with you, affirmations, illustration, quotes, or one of my favorites, music. Just make sure that everything you add will support your desired outcome. Okay, this is a little side thing. I'm a huge slut for memes, basically. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to briefly talk about memes, which you call spiritual memes. While they may appear to be shallow or superficial, the right ones, the ones that cleverly can convert truth, strength, or wisdom, they can hold profound significance. So I encourage you not to dismiss the ideas of using memes in your digital spell practice. Give them a chance. They can be surprisingly potent tools, I promise you that. And why not have fun while you're doing your divination? Why not have fun on your spiritual path, right? Okay, enough about that. Okay, you are essentially constructing a digital altar around your tarot reading spell. And like I said, feel free to add whatever elements you feel would make this spell more tangible or more magical. This is digital divination in action. You present it to the world, the universe will take note of your offering and intention. And this act alone constitutes as the initial step towards manifestation. Consider it your affirmations that the wheels of destiny are already turning. You have spoken your desires into existence and they start to take form. And this is an old example, well, not that old. It's an example from my own Instagram. It may look beautiful, simple, or humorous, and it is. But it is also an active tarot spell. So this is what you basically need to make in a tarot spell. You need your cards, your intuitive powers, your words, a picture of your cards, various extra things, memes, affirmations, illustrations, quotes, whatever, and some music to support your goal, your manifestation, your intention, and your vibe. And I just got the 5-minute warning just in time. We have time for this. Let's do a quick digital word spell. Bring out your smartphones. I know you have them right at hand. Just bring them out. Open up your text app. Make sure you have the word suggestion feature on, meaning that the phone will suggest like 3 words for you when you type. On some phones, it only works in English. I don't know why. Is everybody ready? Type in this. The universe is asking me to. The universe is asking me to. I have no idea if you're ready or if you're still here, but good. I can just see a little. Okay. But that's good, because I would get too nervous if I could see all your eyes at me. So I prefer it like this. You're out in space somewhere. Okay. So when you type in what I just told you to, then you press space. And you basically let the word suggestion feature dictate the rest of your message. When I did, I only used the middle word. But it has to be a sentence that makes sense. So let it dictate until you get a full sentence. Mm-hmm. Okay, when I was preparing for this lecture, I did it too. I tested it out, of course. And this is the message I got. The universe is asking me to be part of this world and stay on my path towards becoming a full-time weirdo. And that is basically my goal in life. So that is spot on. My phone, my droid knows me so well. Yeah, and it is truly, it's a great reminder. And it sums up my goals and my dreams. And it's also served as a good and funny example of what happens when I'm feeding my phone with my own words of intention, dreams, goals, and so on. This little droid here will remind me that what the universe is communicating to me and wants me to do with my life. Okay. I know we're in a serious space here. Fair enough. And I know this is a crazy form of digital divination, but what the fuck is wrong with things being crazy, or easy, or funny? Does it have to be hard to actually work? I say, hell no. Sometimes keeping things simple, keeping things easy, keeping things funny and a little crazy too, will actually make it easier to integrate into your life. When you make things too complicated, it also gets very complicated to integrate into your life. So try to keep things simple, easy, and funny, no matter what sort of divination you're into. Okay, I can't see it, I can't see you, but did anyone get a good one they want to share? Yeah. Come. That is so true, 100%, Charlene. I hear you. Anybody else? Yeah?
My oracle is sponsored by Anomalie.
Maybe that is your message from the universe. Only you know what it truly means, right? Anybody else? Okay, time is running. I can see Charlene is sending me. Fair enough. Okay, last but not least, thank you all for your attention. Thank you for listening to this little crazy girl from Denmark babbling about TikTok. I appreciate it. If you want to dive deeper into the subject of digital magic, online witchcraft, and so on, I made a little blog post. And I also included an adapted version of this presentation in there if you want to dive deeper. So thank you for sharing this space with me, and please stay for the next lecture on the future of tarot with Adam Malone. And the panel debate afterwards. Make sure you stay.